Hi guys, welcome back to Footy Vlogs. We're back with another video. It's a first division show. We're previewing the three matches coming up this Friday, the 10th of June. Today to be joined by Cork City fan Gavin Woods and Bray Wanderers super fan Keith Ryan. Lads, how are you?
How are you doing?
Hi Keith.
Oh, good stuff. Happy days. So yeah, we have three matches to preview. We'll kick off with the meeting of Longford Town and Bray Wanderers. Coming into the match, Longford sitting in fourth place, 28 points, 4 points off third place Waterford. They've won their last two, and yeah, no, they're doing not so bad. And then Bray obviously sitting in seventh. The two draws last time out. So they're 16 points there. There's a bit of a gap between the likes of them and Longford. But how do you see this one, Gavin?
Yeah, I'm just actually looking before I came on there. I was looking at the form of both clubs there, and if I'm right, Keith, I think Bray have only lost once in the last 5 games, have they? So I think, considering the gap is there, Oisin, I think Bray have nothing to fear in the game. As I said, they've only lost once in the last 5 games. They've nothing to lose. So hopefully the momentum will be in their way, and that they might get a result. They'll be hoping to get at least a draw in the game anyway. So anything is possible when we are picking up a bit of form, and you can go away to any team and have a go off them, no matter if they're 8 points ahead of you or 10 points or 12 points ahead. Bray have nothing to lose in this game,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, my apologies. I said the Bray drew the last time out. They actually won against Athlone Town, a 3-0 victory before the break. Keith, yeah, your thoughts on that? Obviously, you're a Bray man yourself. Would you be fairly confident of giving Longford a game, or what are you thinking?
I'll be honest with you, the break probably came at the wrong time for Bray. Obviously they got their first win in 10 games, so you'd be hoping to start a bit of momentum after that, and I know people will say it's only Athlone, but it was a crucial win because they had to get the monkey off their back. It was their first home win of the season, so you would have been hoping the Longford game came in consecutive weeks. Obviously it didn't, but Longford are a good side, and obviously there's the ex-Bray players playing for them, and Gary Cronin effect as well. So, it'll be a tough game. I know Cork struggled up there. Did you, Gavin, earlier in the season? So
big time, yeah.
It's a tough old place to go, and not many teams will get many chances against, particularly a Gary Cronin team, because at the back they're quite solid. So, in terms of Bray, Rob Manley scored last week against Athlone, again getting the monkey off his back, and Darren Lynch got 2 goals. Great performance by Darren. I mean, he's still only a kid, really. So if he can kick on, I know he got injured last week, but if he can kick on from there, hopefully he'll fire Bray up the table.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and Gavin will get a score prediction off you.
I suppose it'll depend. I suppose if, as Keith would know well, I suppose it depends if Darren Craven or Ryan Graydon are playing in that game. If they're playing and they're in form, it's going to be tough. But if Bray can keep them quiet, there's no reason why they can't get a draw up there. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, very good. And then Keith?
Yeah, they've been close enough games this season. Bray obviously got the win up in Longford previous, and then Longford got the win in the Carlisle, so it's been a bit 50-50. Gavin's probably right. I'd certainly take a draw. I definitely would. I think Craven's injured, which is a good thing for Bray. But if Graydon's on form, as Gavin said, if he gets up and down that line and his final ball is good, he'll cause Bray problems. So I'll go 1-1 as well.
Fair enough. Sitting on the fence, fair enough. With me, I would go with a narrow 1-0 win for Longford. But yeah, we'll move on to the next match. It's a match in Ferrycarrig Park in Wexford. It's Wexford who take on Treaty United. Obviously Wexford had a decent enough start to the season. They haven't won in 4 in the recent run. Treaty haven't won in a long time, as far as I can remember. Definitely not their last 5. So kind of both teams have kind of had a bit of a slouch, in the season. So they'll be looking to try and get a win here. They're sitting in 5th, Treaty's in 5th, and Wexford are in 6th. So it'll be I'd say I'm sure both teams will be looking to try and win this, and trying to put a bit of a distance, because they're level on points there. On or no, sorry, there's 3 points on it. Sorry, Treaty are 3 points ahead. So yeah, no, it'll be tasting up fair. Yeah, Keith, you're thinking of that?
To be honest, I think Bray will have one eye on this game, because obviously those two teams are just slightly ahead of them. So they were probably hoping for a draw there. I think you're right. You hit the nail on the head. Both teams seemed to have hit really bad form lately. Particularly Treaty. Like, I mean, I don't think Treaty have won in over 5 games.
Yeah,
they're on a pretty bad run, and which is a surprise. Tommy Barrett's, he's a good manager, and he gets a bit of graft out of the team. Certainly last season. I know Gavin Cork annihilated them down there, and like that seemed to hit them big, like, and they haven't performed anything near what they have last season since that game. So I don't know. Wexford was like, they've a couple of ex Premier Division players in obviously Dinny Corcoran and Lorcan Fitzgerald, and if both of them are on song, obviously Lorcan Fitzgerald at the back, he can keep the back four tight, and then Dinny can play off Aaron Dobbs and Connor Davis as well. So it'll be a tough game. Probably a draw again.
Yeah, actually, I just looked back there, and it was the last time the teams met, and the 18th of April was Treaty's last win. They beat Wexford 2-1. So yeah, it's been a long while time, over a month since they obviously had the break there as well. But it's a bit worrying for Tommy Barrett's men. Yeah, Gavin, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I suppose it's like when, as Keith said, when Treaty came down to Cork, and when City played Treaty away, they went through a spell in both games for about 15 or 20 minutes where City annihilated them. The difference with the Wexford game is City were lucky to get a result away to Wexford, and they got to draw a couple of weeks ago at home. And to be fair to Wexford, they could have came away with 3 points in the cross a couple of weeks ago. City were very lucky. And I think based on that, and I suppose, look, I think when Wexford are playing well, they're a good side. They just, the results haven't gone their way. Whereas I think Treaty, unfortunately, as Keith said, like, they haven't been able to replicate the form they've had last year. So I would go with a Wexford 2-0 victory here at home. I think, like I said to Keith there, I've been rambling about a fella there all season. They're called Jack Doherty for Wexford. And if he gets the freedom of the ball, he's a lovely player, and he creates opportunities from nothing. And like he's very good at playing in Connor Davis or Aaron Dobbs. So like if he gets that chance and he gets the opportunity, he kind of drops outside the 18-yard box, Oisin, and he kind of drifts left and right of the box. And if he gets any bit of freedom, he's very dangerous, to be fair to him. So I'm going to go on that basis. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win to Wexford.
Yeah, I probably agree with you out there. And they'll move level on points then with Treaty in tough place. So I mean, there's a good wee run in there for the playoff team to push for the playoffs. We're only kind of halfway through the season, so it'll be interesting to see kind of who ends up there at the end of the season. Obviously, Longford in the mix there, and there's only 9 points between them and Treaty. So yeah, no, I think it's still all to play for in the playoff race. We'll move on to our last match. It's a tale of the bottom two. Cobh Ramblers are away to Athlone Town. Athlone again, basically the same as kind of Treaty. They've lost their last 5 at least. When Cobh aren't as good, aren't as bad, I should say, but they've lost 3 of the last 5, both in kind of dire straits. They're a bit, you could say, cut adrift. With Bray are obviously 16 points, Cobh 9, and Athlone are sitting at the bottom of the two. So yeah, I don't know. It could be. I'd say it'll be a dire watch, this match. But yeah, Gavin, what are you thinking?
I actually went down to the game a couple of weeks ago. Sheen Cobh were at home to Athlone. I think it finished, I think it was a 4-2 or 3-1 to Cobh. And the problem with both sides is they give away awful goals. Just kind of it kind of reminded me of Cork City last season when they were bad. Just stupid goals. And only from simple mistakes. These aren't like fellas who are getting worldies from 30 yards out. This is stuff where you're man marking in a box and there's a ball comes into the box and you're not picking up your man in simple goals. And Cobh, I've watched them. I've went down one city, I haven't been playing. I've gone down to Coleman's Park to watch them. The problem with Cobh, Oisín, is that they keep changing. I've noticed they never seem to settle with their 11. And they seem to change their 2 centre halves a lot, or like Benny O'Brien Whitmarsh, who played with City last year, who's not a bad player. He's in and out of the side, and he's not getting many chances. And like I was saying to Keith before about this, Cobh are very pedestrianised in the middle of the park. Like, they're nice on the ball, but they don't really have a kind of they don't have a fellow who'll take on the ball and attack. But it's as you said yourself, like, but then like that, like in this sense, then it can be in a kind of another sense. The two of them aren't playing so well. It could end up being a great game because they'll be so open. They'll make stupid mistakes. Like, there could be 6 goals in this game, and it could be the game of the weekend. You know, that's for entertainment wise. It could be that.
It could be.
So in that sense, you know, I suppose. Look, I think for Cobh, maybe the break might have done him the world of good. And like what's his name there, Conor Drynan, and they're on the wing for Cobh there, who's a nice player. He's been missing for a couple of weeks. I was down there a couple of weeks ago, and he got a knock into the face. He got stitches, so he was split open. So I don't know if it was a precautionary measures that he was out for a couple of weeks. So I think when he's back in the squad, he adds something. He's a light player, but he's lovely on the ball, quite silky on the ball. He's left-footed, but he usually comes in for the right, or else stays up on the left, depending. But if he's back in the team and they can kind of settle down a bit, you know, there's no reason why they can't pick up a result up in Athlone, you know.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. And then Keith, your thoughts?
If I was comparing the two teams that came to the Carlisle, definitely Cobh put up a better fight than Athlone did. Athlone are a funny old team. Like, I mean, they've got good quality individuals: Glenn McCauley, Derek Daly, Ubezenu, Alua, but they don't seem to play as a team as such. And they still haven't got a manager in place. I know when we played them a few weeks ago, there was a guy sitting behind a bench, and he was giving instructions to the caretaker manager on the sideline. So, like,
sorry, Keith, is that why Keith Fitzsimons isn't here so tonight? Is it? He's going up for a trial.
Yeah. He's close enough to Athlone, though, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, that's
sorry.
That's the way it was. Like, and you know, it's like there's no structure. Like, oh, we'll just go out and play, and we'll see if we can get lucky or whatever, you know. And like Athlone, you said they haven't won in 5 games. They haven't won at all this season. Like, they've 2 points. So I'm surprised with them. I really am. I was thinking, like, with McCauley going there and Daly, and you know, they had the firepower, and they gave Galway a bit of a game in Athlone earlier on this season, and they scared the life out of you guys, Gavin, up there. Only for a cracking goal with Bulger, but like, they seem to be hot and cold in that sense, you know. Like, they'll give teams a bit of a run for their money some weeks, and then other weeks they'll just lie down and die. You know, it's almost as if they don't care, you know. And I know people will probably think, oh, what does he know? But it just, from the outside, it looks like they're just, the end of the season can't come quick enough, you know. I think Cobh will go up there, and I think Cobh will get a good result. I think they'll win 2-1.
Yeah, and also, you know, the manager leaving Athlone, you know, they didn't obviously get someone in, so I don't know, you know, what's going on there. Possibly the man who was shouting down from the stand is the new manager, and he hasn't been appointed yet. You wouldn't know, like, you know, there's no real kind of communication coming out there. But yeah, no, it'll be, you know, as I said, it could be a dire match. It could, exactly as Gavin said, it could turn out the exact opposite, and could be, you know, a 5-goal thriller as it was a few weeks ago. Yeah, that's basically it, lads. Obviously, the other match, obviously Cork were meant to host Waterford, but that's been called off to the you know, due to the international call-ups, and obviously the Galway are the idle team this week. Just the last week point.
I think
sorry?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
City.
That it's called off.
I couldn't understand why he didn't go ahead, Keith. Why Jimmy Cochran couldn't get a run there and goal, Like Harrington's been superb this year, to be fair. And like I said in the group, I think Harrington's probably, of any of the fellas that I think is definitely well enough to go Premier Division, I think it's Dave Harrington. But why not give Jimmy Cochran a run? Like, I mean, the rest of the squad is there. And interestingly enough, actually, City are playing Sligo in a friendly down in Bishopstown on Saturday, so I might head down there and watch myself. So, like, if he's in goal, to be interesting. I've never seen him goal, and like you said it, you've seen him before, and he said that that he's a decent keeper. I don't know anything about the guy. I only see him in the warm-ups and a match night. Do you know what I mean? And to be fair to David Harrington, you couldn't take him out of goal because he's been outstanding. So, and I mean, just going back to the Athlone situation there, like I was down watching, as I said, against Cobh a couple of weeks ago, and I was looking at Glenn McCauley, but I didn't know who he was. I knew he was with him, but I didn't know what number he was, and I was watching him in the game. And I said, this fella has something in him. He's a player. Like, there's a player in him.
Yeah.
But as you said, like, there's obviously, there's no structure obviously at the moment, whatever's going on with the team at the moment. So, like, as you said there, Keith, if they're playing as individuals, then there's no structure. They're not going to play as a team, and that's where they can't pick up results.
Yeah, and just to finish off, Keith will probably do a video on this at some stage, but the news came out there last week about Kerry FC, joining potentially joining the first division for next season going forward. Obviously, you follow two teams that are currently in the first division now. Possibly, your two teams might be in the Premier Division. We'll see what happens. Hopefully not for Hearts' sake or whatever. But yeah, just overall thoughts. Would you like to see them in the league, or would you just I don't think anyone really is happy with the current format where there's an idle team every week. Would you rather see a 10-team league as it was last year? What it is, whatever suits you.
You want to go, Gav?
Yeah, I suppose. Look, I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. Why not? I suppose it'll depend on the quality of player that comes from Kerry. I don't know, without being disrespectful to anybody down there or anybody that are involved with we said what level they're down to the Kerry Senior League, but I don't know are any of the players good enough down there. I suppose, look, they'll have to have investment behind them anyway. I hope this has been well thought through, because we've seen ourselves from the likes of City, the likes of other clubs over the years where clubs have, they promise you the world, and then when it comes to it, like they fall asunder. So I'm hoping that there's plenty of financial backing coming from there, and that they can actually, come in and succeed as a club. I think it'll be fantastic. And like one thing for sure, like I'd be guessing that, I mean, any of the first division teams, if they're going down to Kerry, like, you like Keith, you're a good example there. Imagine going from Bray down to Kerry, like, it's a trip enough in itself. Coming to Cork, but going to Kerry is another trip on itself. So, like, I wouldn't like to be any team going down to Kerry to try and, if you were fighting for points or anything down there, it's a long trip away, and I'd be guessing that it'll be their first, senior team or whatever you want in the league or first division team. I suspect they'll get great support anyway. And look, it's all positive, touch wood. But as I said, like any of these things, like it'll come down to financial backing. So if there's money there for the club, fantastic. But you just have to be careful of situations like this from previous mistakes with other clubs.
That's it, yeah. And I'll say if there's problem with the finances, like it'll put a bit of bad luck on the league, like, so we don't really want that. When you say he's complaining about the 3 hours or whatever it may be from Bray to Kerry, you're thinking about me. If I'm from the first division next year, it'll be 6 hours. 6 hours and a 6 hours and a sweaty bus.
Private jet there down from
yeah, wild trek, massive trek. We'll have to stay over in a hotel or something out there. Keith, this year,
I think there's two things about this. One, hopefully it's not false dawn. That's as Gavin said, like your Sporting Fingal, your Dublin cities, Kildare County, they've all gone by the wayside. And two, Kerry, obviously they have a GAA background. Kilkenny City had a nice little football club in Kilkenny. They had a nice little ground in Buckley Park. And they didn't get the support because every child in Kilkenny City is born with a hurl in their hand. I know the two Dennehy brothers are from Kerry, are they, Gavin? Am I right in saying that? Yeah. So
they're actually Keith, yeah.
they're the only two lads I would know from Kerry. I know Johnny Egan's father came from Kerry, I think. But like, hopefully, and I believe the setup down there is fantastic. So if they can get that financial backing, as Gavin said, and the support behind them, why not? Why not? You know, look at UCD, for instance. They don't have big crowds. You know, Kerry FC, or whatever they're going to call them, will probably have bigger crowds than UCD. You know, so and for that region, for Cork, Kerry, Limerick, Waterford, you know, Gavin's right. At least they won't have far to travel.
Yeah.
As such, you know, and I do feel sorry for you, Oisin, you know, all the way up there, but like from Bray to Kerry, what is it, 4 hours? You know, it'll be a long trek, but it'll be a bit of crack, you know, and supporters will enjoy going to somewhere new, you know. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's it. And I think it's important that you have the 10 teams in each league, like, you know, before even looking at a 12 and an 8 or whatever it may be, like, you know, because you know, you look at people coming looking from the outside, you know, and they're wondering, like, you know, why is there only 9 teams in that league and there's only 10 in this? Like, can they not like afford another team, whatever? Like, you know. So yeah, no, hopefully it'll push through, you know, and you know, there'll be another place to visit, as you said. So yeah, that's basically it, lads. Cheers for coming on. And if you like the video, just drop a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, just really subscribe on the channel. It helps the channel to grow. So yeah, cheers, lads, for coming on.
Thanks, Oisin.
Cheers.
Thank you.